Hello, everyone. The title for today's presentation is Student Portfolios for Assessment and Grading. The date is November 30th, 2021. The author is Margot H. Gallo, and the presenter will be myself, Salvador Murillo. Hello, everyone. Again, my name is Mr. Salvador Murillo. Welcome to fourth grade class. Thank you all for being here. Thank you for supporting your student and my student. I think this type of support will lend itself to a successful classroom. And that's really all we want. That's really what my class is about. It's not about telling your student whether they are right or wrong. It's about teaching them and giving them tools to learn, but them also showing me how they learn. So together we can be very successful. So first, we're going to go over types of assessment we'll be doing in the classroom. We'll be doing formal and informal assessments. We'll be doing a few of the formal assessments, which are things like quizzes and tests. And I don't particularly like that type of assessment, but it is school and we are required to do some of those testing, like state standardized tests as well. But most of my grading will going to come from informal assessment, which are things like writing samples and project-based assignments like art, drawings, PowerPoint, things of that nature. I really like informal assessment because it helps me and it gives me a guide of how well your student is learning. Are they understanding the topic? Are they understanding the lesson plan? Are they following what I am telling them? Versus formal assessment just gives me a yes, they didn't, and no, they didn't. And with informal assessment, I feel like I can understand where the miscommunication between me and the student is happening so that I can fix that, so that they can understand that. So it gives me a progress and I could interrupt if I feel the progress is not going in the correct directions and lead it back to the correct direction. So again, we'll be talking about portfolios, and portfolios are representation of a student's accomplishments in the school. There are many different types of portfolio. Here are four of the most popular types of portfolios. We have showcase portfolios and best work portfolios. These types of portfolios are pretty close and similar in the same. I would put them in the same category. In this type of portfolio, the student selects their best work for grading. They hand it in, and their grade is based off their best work. And in the other type of portfolio, or most important work, this type of portfolio grade is based on the progression of the student's work from beginning to when the grades are due. The student's grade is based on growth. And then we have collection of sample portfolios. And in this type of portfolio, the student portfolio is filled with many different types of work from many different areas, whether it's math, whether it's science, social studies, art, music. It's a collection of all the work together. But in this class, we'll be focusing on assessment portfolios. And I like this because it's geared more towards the individual student. See, portfolios should be a description of each individual student. It should detail who they are, what they can do, how they communicate, and what they have learned. Each student is different. No student learns the same way. No student communicates what they have learned in the same way. And I feel that assessment portfolios lets me know that is a great guide to figuring out how the student communicates and how the student learns. And it is important for me as a teacher to build a curriculum in which the students can be successful. And again, I feel that assessment portfolios are a good guide into figuring that out. Why student portfolios? Well, first, it's a great way to keep record of a student's continued development over time. Meaning this portfolio is not going to stay with me. This student portfolio is going to follow the student to their next grade level, where the teacher could read it, go through it, and understand how your student learns, how they communicate what they have learned. So the teacher could build a curriculum like I did around your student's strengths, and also build a curriculum that could straighten maybe some of the weaknesses a student may have. Second, they gather information will help design instructions. I've said this before, one of the ideas and foundations of having even portfolios is that I can build a lesson plan around your students' way of learning, around their way of communicating what they have learned. Once I could do that, I feel we could have a very successful student and a very successful year. Third, the student is involved in assessing their own work. See, the thing about student portfolios is they're not a kept secret. I don't keep them locked away or stored away in a cabinet. It's not something that only I or the principal read. It's something where the student understands what's in the portfolio. Anytime I'm about to put something in their student portfolio, the student is notified. Anytime the student is also able to suggest what they want in that portfolio. And last, it's a great method of communication. And we'll talk more about this in the next few slides. But first, let's talk about grading. And I know even the word itself causes some anxiety and so forth, but these are how I'm going to be grading your students. So I think it's important that you understand how they work. So grading with formal form of assessment is never used as feedback. Rather, it leaves the student feeling like they're competing with their peers. Again, this is why I don't like formal forms of assessment, because all it does is tells the student, yes, you understood this, no, you didn't, and this is what you should understand, and that's it. The reason why I like informal assessment and portfolio assessment is because students are given constructive feedback that is intended to improve the student's learning. Again, fully based on growth, building on students' prior knowledge, and continue to do that until the student understands and the student can communicate. And then more important, the student can learn and be successful. In portfolio assessment, students will be given grade depending on their growth and goals met. The process will be completed during the conferences. And what are the conferences? Well, first and most importantly, is we need to work together. We want to be successful. We want our students to be successful. We need to work together. So the first way of doing that is through teacher and student. And we call this teacher-led conferences. During the teacher and student conferences, the teacher will ask key questions and guided statements. Those questions will be, show me your best work. Tell me why you chose this piece. What did you learn from doing it? What grade do you think you should get? And more importantly, why? Show me evidence that this is the grade you deserve. And let's talk about your goals for the next class. And again, I really like putting the statement of let's look at your goals for the next class. Because again, it's all about progress. It's all about building on prior knowledge. It's all about going forward and learning more and new things. Now, still working together, after the student has mastered the teacher-led conferences, after they understand how they are geared and why they are structured in a certain way, the student now is the leader of these conferences. So these types of conferences are called student and teacher conferences. In these, the students will explain why they have chosen a course of action and reflect on their own personal progress towards meeting their goals. Students are encouraged to include outside of school acknowledgements and accomplishments. Again, assessment portfolios is about the whole student. And the whole student doesn't stop being the whole student when they leave school. It's when they're at home and when they're in the community. So if a student receives an award within their community for being a great leader or a great person of service, I want them to come to me and let me know that. I want to put that in their portfolio. I think it builds on confidence. I think it lets them know that grades aren't everything, but it's all about learning. It's about being a good student. It's about being a good student and classmate towards your peers. Again, still working together is the key point of when it comes to portfolios. So now we'll be talking about teacher and student and guardians. See, many studies have shown that involved parents and guardians tend to have higher grades and test scores. So being said that if a student feels supported, they are more likely to graduate from high school. They are more likely to score well on tests. So what I'll be doing for you is sending you a copy of all the guided questions and statements that I give the students during the teacher-led conferences. And for those of you who prefer, please call me, email me, or raise your hand, And I can translate these questions and statements into the student's home language. But what I want you to do is after students done doing homework, sit them down, tell them, show me your homework, show me your best work. Tell me why you chose to show me this piece. What did you learn from doing this homework? What grade do you think you'll get when you hand in the homework tomorrow? Why do you think you'll get that grade? Well, show me evidence of why you deserve that grade. And ask them, what's your goal for the next class period? What's your goal? Because again, it's always about looking forward. It's all about progress. It's all about progression. We will be using multimedia portfolios, meaning all work and conference notes will be scanned and stored on the district server cloud and can be accessed by the student and parents. Again, the portfolios are not kept as a secret. So anytime I talk to your students, either written notes or audio recording will be uploaded. Any type of work they do, whether it's in the art class, whether it's in math, will be uploaded. So you can see the students' progress. You can ask them questions. And it, again, it leads to you being more involved. And we talked about this, a parent that is more involved or a guardian that is more involved with their students lends to a more successful student. And that's really what it's all about. We're here to help the students be more successful and to figure out how they communicate and how they learn. And assessment portfolios are the best way to do that. So in assessment, we must guarantee that all students have a clear pathway to succeed and a voice in their journey towards their destination. As a teacher, the most satisfying thing is not seeing an A student keep getting A's, but it's seeing the student who didn't quite understand a subject or a lesson plan begin to understand it. Seeing growth is the best. So I want to thank you for your time. And I know that we'll be communicating a lot during the school year. Please email me, call me, ask me, and know that I can translate any of my work into any language so that you better understand, so that you can better support your students and that you can feel involved in their lives. And I know that will make them happy and lead to success. So thank you for your time.